What is up, guys? Today we're doing a deck profile on Mekk-Knights, pure Mekk-Knights actually. Um, One of my coworkers wanted me to do a deck profile, so that's what we're doing. All right, just get right into it, bro. So it's a 40 card main deck. You play 3 Mekk-Knight Purple Nightfall. Okay, you banish it, or the effect is you target a Mekk-Knight you control, banish it, and then add another Mekk-Knight from your deck to your hand, and this will come back in your standby phase. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. I always forget that effect. Then you play the 3 Blue Sky. This one will allow you to add Mekk-Knights equal to the number of cards your opponent controls in the same column as it. So if they have 2 cards in the same column as this card when it's summoned, you can add 2 Mekk-Knights. 3 if you're lucky. Then you play the 2 Indigo Eclipse. I want to play 3 just because I want to see a Mekk-Knight at least. Because if you don't see a Mekk-Knight, you brick. And this is again going second deck, so you're gonna have to start off with 6 cards. Then you have 1 yellow, 1 red, and 1 Avram, the vanilla, best card in the deck. So that is the Mekk-Knights. It's the only Mekk-Knight monsters you run. I don't run the green one. Thinking about putting the green one in there, or just putting a third Eclipse. Probably gonna be doing that. Now for the hand traps, well, pseudo hand trap, Gamma Seal helps you make columns, especially if your opponent sets cards in their spell trap card zone and a monster. You just tribute their monster, put this in front of their spell trap card zone, makes blue live for 2 ads. Then 2 Ash Blossom generic, good against pretty much any deck. And if you're going second, you play the Hyperia. If you're going first, because usually in game 2 your opponent will make you go first once they find out you're playing Mekk-Knights, these 2 become something else. I'll show it to you when I get into the side deck. And then the next 2 are supposed to be Phantasme. I don't have any, so we're playing the new Ancient Warriors Loyal Guan Yu. This is kind of like a Dino Rush or Pankratops, because if your opponent is the only if your opponent controls a monster and you control none, you can special summon this from your hand. And then if they control more monsters than you do, you can just target one monster they control and destroy it. So it doesn't get rid of back row, but it still helps, right? So plus it's a free body. You can use it for link fodder to get your Morning Star, you know. So that rounds off the monsters. We're gonna go straight into the spells. You're gonna run 3 World Legacy Memory. This card lets you special summon any Mekk-Knight from the deck in defense position. But after that, when it resolves, you're locked into Mekk-Knights for the turn. Probably one of your more important spells. Then you play 3 Called by the Grave. This deck loses to hand traps pretty badly, so some people don't main this, but I decide to. Because, I mean, even if they don't ash you, or they don't droll you, or they don't use a hand trap in general, you can set it and then use it against your opponent. Right, and you run the 2 Galaxy Cyclone and the 2 Instant Fusion. Galaxy Cyclone obviously is back row removal. Instant Fusion is for your 1000 Ice target. Then you play 2 of the Super Polymerization, because Super Poly is really good, super good, too strong. I don't play 3 because I don't want to see too many, I guess. I mean, if you got it, you got it, right? And then I'm on 1 World Legacy Key for back row. Stops all traps. Pretty much, so on activation, you can add any of your banished Mekk-Knights and add it to your hand. You can target any of your banished Mekk-Knights and add it to your hand. But also, any trap that activates in the same column as a Mekk-Knight gets negated. So, like, even if Judgment or like Strike activates, even though it's a counter trap, it'll still negate it. Then you have World Legacy Succession, just pretty much to revive anything from the graveyard as long as you have a link arrow. And then 1 Upstart, just because. We're running 40, why not make it 39, right? That's it for the spells. Move on to the traps. Best trap in the game. Roll Legacy Secrets. Upon activation, you target a level 5 or higher monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and then any monster effect that activates in the same column as a Mekk-Knight is negated. So usually the target for this will be Indigo Eclipse. Because he has the effect that he can move any Mekk-Knight to any column. So that's pretty strong. Then 2 more hand traps, the Infinite Impermanence, also good for making columns, and then the 2 Paleozoic Dynamiscus. Good for removal of anything, actually. Banishes it. Pretty good. Get around a few things. If you don't want to play this, you could play the Cosmic Cyclone. The reason why we play this is, so let's say I activate this, right, and then it's in the graveyard, and we activate a Impermanence. We can chain it, summon it. Because it's a normal monster, so you can use a Link Spider, Link Spider for it, and make a column that way. It's not even just any. It's not a trap card that I activate. It's any trap card. All right, that's 40 main. Gonna go into the extra deck. So 1 card, Gravity Controller, just in case. I like this card because you can use the Infusion for Thousand Eyes. Then take one of your opponent's monsters and then link that into this. Or I mean, you can also do it for Link Karibo. I'm thinking about maybe taking Link Karibo out. I'm not really sure, but I'll probably play it just in case. And then in the battle phase, if it attacks a monster in the extra monster zone, you can just bounce both of them. You bounce both of them, and then you're just pretty much clearing path. Then you have the Link Spider and the Link Karibo for columns, and also the Owl Mirage for columns. Then I run 2 of the Mekk-Knight Morningstar. Second one comes up. Don't really need a third one. From my experience, this is how you search the World Legacy cards, spell traps. This is pretty 9 out of 10 times, or 8 out of 10 times, depending on how your hand is, your opening hand, you're gonna search the World Legacy Secrets. All right, then play the 1 Nightmare Phoenix just to get rid of weird stuff that you can't out, or if you don't have the background removal cards, you can just make that. 1 Supreme, Spectrum Supreme. This is a game ender in my opinion, because if you can't get over something, but you can somehow manage to get this card in the column by itself, you just attack directly and just win the game that way. Because it has the effect, if it's the only card in its column, you can attack your opponent directly. And then also it has another effect where you can send a card from that is in this card's column and special summon a Mekk-Knight. So that's pretty cool. You can use it with the Thousand Eyes combo. Take one of their monsters, put it underneath this guy in the spell trap card zone, use an effect, send it to grave. Then we have the Blackluster Soldier of Chaos. We have a lot of level 7 and higher, so it's easy to make. Alright, then 1 Boral Sword and 1 Borload, just in case, and 1 Mekk-Knight Crusadia Avramax. Lots of cards lots of decks can't get through this. Prevents targeting. You can't attack anything else but this card. Right, then it's a fusion target, Thousand Eyes. And 1 Dingirsu, we have level 8s, easy to make. And then 1 Ultimate Falcon, because we do run the Waken the Dragon in the side deck. Right, that's the extra deck, guys. We're gonna go to the side deck real quick. Nothing really fancy. 3 lands here because it's an everybody side deck. You want to stop cards decks that banish. Spiral banishes. A lot of rogue cards banish. Rogue decks, my bad. Orcus is kind of still a thing, so it can stop them. And you're on 2 Nibiru. I don't run 3 because I don't know. I've had the bad luck of seeing too many in one hand. You know what I mean? So 2 I think is enough. 2 draw. I have wanted to run 3, but it's kind of tight. The space is tight, right? Then this is the card that I was telling you about. Nightmare Corruptor Ibli. If you're going second, like I said, that's why the Hyperion is in the main deck, because you just draw a card when it's summoned. But if you know you're gonna go second the next game, in game 2, you side these in. This card by itself is a 1 card column. You normal summon this, link into Almirage, activate the Grave effect, special summon it in front of the Almirage, and you have a column. Then from back row, 2 Twin Twisters. 2 Twin Twisters. Oh my god, I said that. 2 Hatronade. The Hatronades are mostly for the Subterror matchup. And it's really good to bait out any Solemn Judgments they have, or anything like that. Because even if they activate the final battle sets when it resolves, so it'll still get sent back to the hand. Then 2 of the Waking the Dragon, and that's it. Waking the Dragon is just too strong. I've won many games because of this card. Lots of people can't. There's decks out there that can't out the Ultimate Falcon, because the Ultimate Falcon is unaffected by card effects. So, and that's a big deal. All right, guys, that's a profile. Catch you guys later.